Awesome. Here is my first stream. I'm still figuring out all the tech, but hopefully it'll go well. I'm going to start. My first game I'm going to play is Torment Tides of Numenera. It was released in 2017, and I think it'll be a good game to start out with so I can interact more with anyone who stops by to chat, and it'll also allow me to show what my channel is going to be, because I'm going to focus on role-playing games, RPGs, and talking about how, especially with a focus on their stories and such, so that I can better talk about what I do. I know it's probably not the most popular game, but I'm going to start a new one. I have played it before, but it's been a long time. So I'm starting a brand new game. We'll see what kind of character I end up with. Male. Mind wakes into aching cold, sets into an unfamiliar body.
A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you.
Hopefully you can hear fine.
Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you've forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
I'm gonna look around.
A white pink fleshy cocoon surrounds you. Even as you look, a minor rent in its side tears open, and the howling wind forces its way inside. The cocoon rips away, gone before you can grab it, spinning you into a dizzying tunnel. You are falling, the world many kilometers beneath you. You catch a glimpse of a curved horizon, and also the ground beneath you that is approaching deceptively quickly. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in upon itself. A corona of acid green and black energy playing around its edges. The wind buffets you and burns your eyes, but you don't need to see the details of the faraway ground to know you're in serious trouble. You won't survive a fall from this stratospheric height. A part of your frantic mind babbles that technically you probably fell from a thermospheric height. You struggle to stay focused as the ground rushes toward you.
Yeah, this game does have an interesting start. Like having torch, if I can steer it.
You slice through the air. The wind tears at your face and scalp, and your skin burns under the tremendous speed. Your vision blurs.
Look around.
Your eyes are full of tears.
See what kind of world
You
it
can't
is.
see anything except a shapeless mass of green and brown and tan and blue below. You try to wipe the moisture from your eyes and realize that you'll need to slow yourself before you can even open them.
That's fine.
You manage to stabilize yourself, but the air howls and whips around you, and the bay under your feet is larger by the moment. You see a small glassy dome inside the littered bay, two figures outside it. One of them points his arm at you and a riot of colors tangles your fall, slowing you, but not enough. You crash into the building, and as your consciousness winks out, you hear the sounds of the structure collapsing
I heard
around
something.
you, and then
Looks like it's streaming well. Certainly an interesting building. Or consciousness, maybe. Simple enough. Okay. So let's see, I have 20 health, 5 might, 5 speed, 5 intelligence. Let's see what those are. Abilities, items. Let's examine the bowl first before we use it. Let's start moving it. Encounter your first test. You have stat pool, minus speed, and intellect you can spend to increase your chances of success. This is called using effort. Interesting. To more easily move the bowl in front of you, click to spend might for high level effort. Or if you fail a test. Okay. Freedom of failure, nice. Thoroughly investigated the bowl gives me a higher chance of doing it. Interesting. So, modifiers for effort. Let's go with 100 like that. Let's be safe now. Lift it over. Got some light. Hello, are you still alive down there? We're up here, build a path up to us and be careful. Okay, hopefully that's simple enough. Oh, here's all my menus. Cool, good. Oh, there, memories. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell. A bubble of stale air, your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Whereas your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennae. He believes he can get the two of you through the corridor door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, and that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed and must proceed. Deceive him, go faster, threaten him, cast a spell to fix it yourself. I'm going to try deception, so I don't like the other two. The words echo clearly and looks up surprised as you cut through his indecisive daze. He grimaces and says, "All right, we'll be through the door before they catch up." His fingers make minute adjustments to the knobs and blinking levers of the device, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the waterboarded cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Run, you can come back for it. They won't be able to protect it forever. Disable the sonar pulse. Use the device one of the ciphers in your belt. So I'm sure this is going to affect what kind of character I'm going to be, but how that's going to affect it, I do not know. You focus on the cloudy base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel for the jeweled force node, almost as if you had built it in the first place. You remove it, casting it to the side, and you reach inside to deactivate the crystals that power both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaly hand falls on your shoulder. Your head whips around and you see only the inky blackness of a piscine eye. The memory begins to fade as if you were being drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you. like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. Definitely interesting. I like the graphics. It's interesting. It's made by, I believe, the people who made Pillars of Eternity. Very similar type game. But for some reason I didn't really like Pillars of Eternity much. I think something about the pacing of the combat and things. So I'm hoping this is a little more my speed. You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic bliss gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware, humanoid machines drill into the cliffs below. If you are looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately, this seems like the right place. Good. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat and neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we've found? Draw attention to the hidden details that you're more experienced that I can clearly see. I like that idea. Use your charm to persuade her of the merits of the site and to remind her of the time constraints. Convince her with the wisdom of your superior intellect. Whew. Okay, so for characters, do I want better perception? Do I want better persuasion? Or do I want better intellect and wisdom? Whew. I want all three. They all sound like very helpful. I think I'm going to do perception. You shade your eyes against the bright sun that you can point out the thin bands radiating out from the metallic disc. How the energy from those bands affects the local fauna, suggesting an enormous source of prior world energy. She thinks deeply. It's geologically sound. Have you run the sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weaknesses showed up on your resonance scans? She waits for your affirmation and says, "All right, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the plateau to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of your servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? You can use the new Monera integrated into the construct's body to overwhelm the behavior malfunction. I can examine it for mechanical faults, or look for a deeper solution. Perhaps it's an effect of the metallic disc itself. I'm going to... This sounds interesting. I don't know what the new Monera is, but the game is called Torment Tides of Numenera, so something big. The mist falls onto plateaus. You activate the time-scarred artifacts fastened to the construct's behavioral core with a sub-vocalized command. Sub-vocalization is really interesting. With an abrupt clack and a pulse of pleasant warmth, the devices purge the error, and 7 copper-banded spheres drop out of evenly spaced rifts in the air. Ignoring this common side effect, you give new orders to the malfunctioning construct in a firm, clear voice. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. Good. There ends the memory. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, blocked by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. Reclaiming your memories hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you're doing, and is hunting you. Exciting. Okay. So at least one more memory before I leave. Vision of a city springs up around you, your city, in flames and under attack. Your defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, 2 of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor and holding a hilt with a sizzling invisible blade. Interesting. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. Trade blows with the giant. You can handle it for at least a strike or two, so that's like endurance. Duck under the giant's swing and attack before he can strike. Dexterity or evasion or something. Fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. I like the duck under the string. I like being fast, being quick. You roll under the blurring arc of his axe. He's overconfident, testing you without committing to the attack. Yes, he's fast, but not as fast as you are. Or maybe just speed. And when he raises the great axe above his head to finish you, you're able to bury your blade under his breastplate. The blade emerges from the back of his neck, and his life's blood washes over your hands. He falls, taking your weapon with him, and his companion attacks. Her invisible blade is far more lethal than the giant's axe. You duck as she thrusts at you, and the wall behind you hisses, destroy. Her return swing cuts through your armor, ruining your breastplate. She doesn't have to be skilled with a weapon like this. She just has to make contact. You time your attack just as she pulls it back for another strike. You barrel into her, driving her over the wall, and she drops screaming to the ground 15 meters below. That'll do it. The immediate threat ended, you focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. Hurl yourself against the door, knock them to the ground, crack the door open and sneak past them. I like sneaking. Charge through them, counting on your defenses to protect you. I like sneaking. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly. Sneaking also tends to be a very interesting way to do things. More skill, a little more time. It's fun. The sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push again, squeeze yourself through the narrow opening, and creep down the bloodstained hall. Memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Okay, so memory 3 done. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memory blazes within you, like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. Okay. So I'm not going out the big doors yet, at least. Okay. Interact with the mirror. Oh cool, they have like real-time reflections. That's always a nice touch. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols. Daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. That's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs and the choices you made, shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of your bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and slow vibrations spread from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. Interesting. So further define my aspects. Point at the doppelganger moving cautiously through the crowd. Point at the doppelganger slipping gracefully through the mob. Point at the doppelganger observing all the others. Point at the doppelganger moving stealthily through the crowd, or step away from the mirror. I'll do... Like I said, I like stealth. I think that'll be interesting. You blink and the doppelganger is gone. Or so you think at first, for you can hear just for a second a low chuckle somewhere behind you. When you finally blink, it stands before you once more, behind the glass where it belongs, and waiting for your decision. Yes, I will be the stealthy one. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face reflects confidence and cleverness. Shadows of weapons flicker in and out of its hand, and a few devices shimmer on its belt. You get the feeling you would be comfortable in a variety of situations. Good. The word Jack sounds in your mind. Gain descriptor stealthy. Cool. Your doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening you and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shared world, like a bell if bells could rock. Something is coming. And it restored the might I used to move the pool. Good. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. Oh. Character creation, okay. So now you get to go through the whole thing. Your choices and the memories of the mirror have begun to build your character, but now you have the opportunity to decide on a number of details. First, you can decide to change your type. Type defines the abilities and skills you'll be able to acquire as you advance. So change character type. So right now I'm Jack. Jacks are intrepid explorers and adventurers. They are jacks of all trades, hence the name. Although the word also harkens back to fables involving a wily, resourceful hero who always seems to be named Jack. Jacks are at their best when they combine weapons, armor, esoteries, ciphers, and a clever tongue. They are treasure hunters, grifters, scalds, rogues, and experts in a variety of fields. Okay, so let's see the others first before I... Nano. Nanos are sometimes called mages, wizards, sorcerers, or witches by the people of the Ninth World. Oh, that'd be fun too. Whatever they're called, Nanos mastered the mysteries of the past to the degree that they seem to perform miracles using esoteries. Spell-like invocations that combine gestures, command words, and psychic disciplines. They tap into nanospirits, numinous particles that suffuse the landscape to alter reality or learn things that they couldn't otherwise know. So you have bonus to intellect. Concentration increases. Cipher limit onslaught. Choose a damage type, deal 5 damage to that type, and confirm a minor additional effect based on that choice. Plus 1 damage per effort. Jacks have flex skill. Choose 1 exploration, lore, or conversation skill. Plus 1 in that while active until next sleep. Okay, so I can change forward to the street equals. Okay, and then what's Glade? Glades are probably like the heavy hitters or something. Yeah, elite warriors in the Ninth World using weapons and armor to fight their enemies. Scouts, guardians, warlords, and soldiers could be Glades. Either have a high might, use the heaviest armor weapons available, or high speed and stick with light range weapons and lighter medium armor. Okay. So that's like the regular melee types. I'm not going to do them. I like to be either, I think, Jack or Nano. Nano seems to like come a bit preemptive. Jack seems interesting, but I think I'm going to go with Nano just because the magic system sounds cool and it's a little more filled out. I feel like with Jack there's a high chance of building a character that's not going to work well. So heavy weapons, medium weapons, sort of okay light weapons. Concentration. Mitigates penalties for equipped bonded artifacts. Okay. Interesting. So it makes artifacts better, whatever they are. High initiative, okay. Oh, wait, low initiative. Is this higher or low? So this is ability, trained. Okay. Okay, so I'm good at light weapons and I'm really bad at heavy and medium and I have very bad initiative. Oh, they both do. High stealth, you know. Not good at running. And good at deception. Okay. So I'm good at concentration, light weapons, stealth, and deception. I'm okay with being bad with heavy and medium weapons, that's fine. I don't like having the low initiative, but they both do. Yeah, so they basically the same, so this is bad at medium weapons. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's do nano. Stat pools to receive play effort, okay. Blaze doesn't find lighter speed, while Nano's favorite intellect. Jack she's benefit from balance set of points. Okay, so I have 2 points remaining. So let's do at least the speed. I'll probably boost intellect once more as well. Okay, every 2 point of intellect also increases willpower by 5%. Not exactly sure what that does, but probably affects my magic stuff. Speed increases evasion, might increases health. Okay. Interesting. Abilities can also be active actions or unique passive effects. So I have two. So I like scan thoughts. That sounds super useful, being able to read minds during conversations. Hear their thoughts. Often helpful, though rarely appreciated. So be careful with that. Innervate. Negative fettles. So heal. Teleport an ally. Gain protected. So gain armor, heal, teleport, or training level in ciphers. You know how to handle ciphers and store them properly. I don't know what ciphers are. So I'm going to do the teleport because it seems the most adaptable. I think from what I've read about this game, there's a lot of... it's not very combat heavy, so I'm trying to go for things that aren't as combat heavy. Hopefully I can pick up a companion who is better at combat, maybe like a guardian or something. One of those glaives. Most skills increase your chance of success on specific kinds of actions and tasks, but some give other passive bonuses. Each skill starts at novice and can be increased to trained and specialized. Okay. Descriptors often leave some skills at the inability level, meaning they inflict penalties. When upgraded, these return to the novice level. Cool. Right, so I'm good at concentration, light weapons, deception, stealth, and bad initiative running. Okay, so I can choose an exploration skill. So I can do some kind of lore. So I can be good at lore with machines. Academic knowledge of machines, mechanics, and the physical sciences. I can be good at nature. Natural sciences and physical creatures or mystical. Sciences that are not exactly physical nor natural, including strange or transdimensional creatures. Okay, I think I'm going to go not natural, natural science, physical. I'm sure it'd be helpful, but I think I'm either going to go machinery, mystical. Let's start with machinery. I can always get more later, hopefully. Only glaives receive training in weapon skills. I'm not a glaive. Okay, so now I can choose my descriptor from among the many doppelgangers in the mirror. So I can now see the specific bonuses and penalties each one grants, and look at the other ones as well. So right now I'm sneaky. So I'm +1 in light weapons, +1 in stealth, +1 in deception. I like all that. -1 in initiative, -1 in running. I don't love those, but they're okay. Kind of want to keep it, but I do want to at least look through what intelligent and learned do. +2 intellect pool, +1 training level in anamnesis. Okay, so it's increased memory basically. Lore. Oh, so I get 2 lore skills. +1 in healing, but persuasion, deception. I like stealthy. I think it'll be interesting to be a mage who's also used a lot of stealth. I like the bonuses it gives. Yeah, because concentration at trained, bonded artifacts equipped to the first slot do not confer a negative effect. It looks like I have 2 slots. Yeah. So I have 2 slots and do not confirm. Yeah, so that'll be good. Oh, it looks like it's just either inability or novice. So there's not 5 levels, there's 4. So there's 2, 1, 0, or negative. Okay. Here's procedures, last chance change. Yes, let's go with this. Okay, so I can press tab to view all things that I can interact with. That's always helpful, especially in these games when there's lots of bodies or something to loot. It's usually helpful to have that highlight. The Spectre. Everything about the spectral figure seems dreamlike. He is a hazy silhouette who seems to be made of blue glass smoke. He wears stylish, well-cut clothes. His handsome, bearded face seems hauntingly familiar, but we've never seen him before. He breathes a sigh of relief when he sees you. We weren't sure that would work. We pooled our strength and channeled it through me to reach you, to wake you up. He glances at the other figures here and frowns unhappily. Took more out of them than we thought. The other reflections, they're more like shadows now. Look, I'll bet you've got a lot of questions. This whole place is basically your mind. Your body's still out there in the real world. That's annoying. Okay, so get rid of those. Healing from that fall. You need to get out there and finish the process. He shrugs. It shouldn't be too hard. Before I met you, it felt like something was hunting me. Do you know what it was? Yeah, let's start with that. Close his eyes. That's a memory I don't want to recall. Large, black, furious. It's our death. It's the sorrow. Close his eyes. I hope it's lost interest in you. If it finds us, we're done for. So that to finish the process, what do you mean by that? Who are those other people? You called them reflections. Okay, codex entry unlocked, reflection. Good. That's what they are. As I said, it's your mind. You'll find reflections of people you knew, people you met in the real world, and with whom you shared some kind of psychic connection. I don't know how or why, it just happens. So who are you? He paused and looks down at himself, considering a long time before answering. I'm you. I'm part of your mind, a splinter. I was waiting here for you. We called you with the memories of the others who are here. I don't know what happened next. How do you know all this? All that you're telling me? He throws up his hands in frustration. I'm just a part of you. I look at you and I know. This place was made for you, for us, and I remember pieces of knowledge that come to me when you ask your questions. But that's all. Cool. Displaced my mind, why don't I remember any of this, any of you? It's your mind, a construct built to, I don't know, share thoughts, store your true self. Wait, you know how people say, in the first place? This is definitely the first place of your memory. Well, it was the first place for me anyway. You probably know better since it's yours. If you don't remember now, maybe it'll come to you later. I like how the background is moving a bit. Keeps it interesting. You said to finish the process. What do you mean by that? Okay, there's it repeats. After you wake up from this dream and attune to the tides, you'll need to find something called a resonance chamber. Your body should have landed somewhere near it. Just climb inside that and everything will be fine. So get inside a resonance chamber. Tuned. What do you mean attuned to the tides? What are the tides? Tides are like a force. Again, the game's called Tides of Numenera. Like gravity or magnetism or something. Except they respond to people's actions and perceptions. Your body, that is your body in the real world, needs the tides to survive. It's not something you need to worry about. Your body will attune as it wakes up. Okay, so it'll happen. So what does resonance chamber do? I remember pieces about it, but not the whole. It's a crystal sarcophagus. I remember it having 5 mechanical arms around it and a metal ring set in the floor. I think we were aiming for it when we fell. When you open your eyes in the real world, it should be nearby. So place again, who you are. So how do I get back to the real world? There's a portal down there. It'll take you back to your body. Just step through it and the whole tides thing should take care of itself. Good. He crosses his arms. When you wake up, find the resonance chamber and activate it. Then we can... When the hells is that? Looks like the sorrow, probably. Yep, God's just the sorrow. Oh, there goes my portal. And the shadows. The sorrow is anchored to those reflections. It's devouring their power. That can't be good. We have to get rid of them. Destroy its anchors or else the sorrow will erase us forever. Crisis initiated. I think that means combat. Kill the reflections, anchoring the sorrow to your mind. It's a crisis. A crisis begins when you enter into a dangerous situation. Crises are turn-based encounters where you can fight, sneak, manipulate the environment, or talk your way out of trouble. Okay, so it's not all combat. Interesting. Each turn you can take one sword action to attack or activate an ability. You can also make one move action. That reflection near you. Kill it. You'll loosen the sorrow's anchors. Okay, so start with that. Use the left mouse button to attack an enemy or move to a position. Try clicking the highlighted character now. Attack 80%. Effects can be applied to attacks to increase your chance to hit. As with other tasks, each level of effort increases your chance by 20%. The cost of 1 point per step. Unarmed attacks use speed, but other weapons' abilities may use might or intellect instead. Okay, so I need an intellect weapon. Damage 1. Basic attack. So I can use a thing to put it to 100%, but I think 80% is good enough. Especially if I'm doing... Okay, so 1 damage is enough. Uh-oh. It's escaping, it's going to hide inside your mind. Now run, get to the next one. You can sacrifice your action to double move instead of attacking. The movement preview line turns purple when over a position that requires a double move. Okay, so that's showing me I can do here, 1, there with 2. Great. Okay. We can't. There. That's both actions. Great. Oh, it's making more things. Onslaught, do 5 damage, hide. Apply effort. Effort also increases damage you deal. Okay, so if I... Oh yeah, that's 4 damage. I'll use 1 speed. Make sure I get it. I feel like I'll get my speed back when I get my sarcophagus or something. So use my action, I'll need to wait till my next one deal with another reflection. You can move somewhere to spend your remaining move if you want, or you can conclude that turn. I'm gonna move next to them, I think. What is it doing now? It's infecting it somehow. Fettles. Fettles are temporary conditions or status effects that can improve or reduce a character's stats. The sorrow just placed a fettle in the remaining reflection. You can't remove this fettle, but you may find a way to overcome it. Okay. I get info on it. Let's try my ability. Oh, so here is select damage type. So it said I could select which type. So energy, chemical, trans-dimensional, or mental. Let's try mental, I guess. Choose an enemy. So 50%, total cost 1 intellect. Okay. Let's use as much as I can on it. So I'll use 3 intellect total. But it'll hit hard, hopefully. And hopefully then I'll get rid of the sorrow. Nice. Codex unlock the sorrow. The spectre. You pried it loose. The thing is a cancer and infection. It's unstoppable, but you stopped it. He holds his head in his hands. I can't believe it found us in here. He looks at you, terror in his eyes. That thing, the sorrow, it's been hunting you. It's what killed you in the first place. It'll keep hunting you until you activate the resonance chamber. I didn't remember until I saw it, but that's why the chamber is so important. You have to get back and activate the chamber before it's too late. The pearl to your body is that shimmering dome there. Go, now. Okay. Easy enough. So if I hold tab... Oh! There are things. There's a spectre. And there's loot. Shimmering glass. It's a cipher. It does 13 physical damage and refills all users' stat pools. Wow. Okay. Take that. Does that mean it's a consumable? Is that what ciphers are? Inventory. Okay. First. Okay. Equipment. Equips the current character. Adding range weapons, shields, armor, ornaments, and bonded items. Your backpack contains all the items being carried by the current character. Inventory. quest items, special items. Find the ciphers you are carrying your cipher limit. So a cipher limit of 3. Ciphers shown in the inner rings are highlighted in blue and are safe to carry. Those on the outer rings, highlighted in orange, are over your cipher limit and inflict negative effects as long as you're carrying them. You can use, sell, discard, or transfer them to another party member to get back under your cipher limit. There's a fragment of the mirror that the star shattered in the calm. It holds a reflection of you, frozen in time, surrounded by a coronet of multicolored energies. So it doesn't tell me how many uses I got. I'm gonna assume it's one use for now, maybe. We'll see. If I get to a hard fight, I'll probably use it.
Where did he fall from? His body smashed to talk. So I wonder he's still breathing.
Whoa, she's like vibrating.
Not his origin point. But look, he's healing already. Spontaneous regeneration.
Uh-oh, looks like the thing's broken. Ugh, what was that? What did you do, Calistig? This is Allegren talking. His tone has become accusatory, suspicious. You open your eyes. The first thing you notice is this man's kaleidoscope of tattoos, writhing across his forearms. He wears a long, dark coat, belted at the waist, supplies filling the pockets. His boots are worn and stained with years of travel. Calistig. So this must be the one in red. You blame me? You emitted an internal physiological reaction in response to the fall. Probably related to that fantastic healing process. Obviously, Allegren. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure that you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions trail from her, each nearly mimicking her, though some act and react to stimuli that you can't perceive. Her vivid hair and outrageous clothing remain constant through these shadows. Oh yes, it's obvious, Callista. His voice is grim and clipped. Then he sees you looking at him. You're no ordinary mortal. We know that much. Start talking. His face is hard and set, but why? Scan thoughts. He's the changing god. Callista is deliberately blinding herself, but why? I'm no ordinary mortal? What do you mean? You really don't know? He cocks his head to the side. I'm starting to think you're not him. Starting to think, Allegren. Tell me, is it a novel experience? Scan thoughts. Allegren's being more paranoid than usual. How long must I put up with him? It's his face. I've never seen any other people rebuild themselves like that. Only the changing god could have healed so quickly. He sighs and rubs his face, trying to regain his composure. Maybe you could help me for a change. You know what this means to me. You're familiar with the word changing, Allegren. It implies inconsistency. Thus the changing god may well have changed. Several versions of her shrug and she addresses you. You'll have to forgive him. He believes you're someone he once knew, even though it's painfully obvious to anyone that you are newly born. Callista, her most solid self, curtsies while others bow or spit. I and my sisters am Callista. This is Allegren. We are explorers, knowledge seekers. That's how we came to be in this room. If I'm not mistaken, you are what we call a cast-off. The changing god created you, body and mind. Your sire used your body for a time, then abandoned it for reasons of his own. When his mind departed for a new experience, you were born in his cast-off shell. Where are we? Is this place? Who is the changing god? Are there other cast-offs? So you're born. You say I was born when the changing god left, but why am I not dead? Before I woke, I was in some kind of dreamlike labyrinth with a glowing specter. If falling from the sky didn't kill me, is there anything that can? Are there other cast-offs first? I'm sure I'll be able to go through most of those options. Dozens, hundreds, who can say? Your sire has been doing this for several centuries. Though if all of them were born the way you claim to have been, it's a wonder any of them survive. Why am I not dead? I used a cipher to slow your fall further, but the damage still would have killed an ordinary person. But think about it. If you're the kind of person who can make your body into anything you want, what do? If you've constructed bodies for centuries, you want to make each one better than the last, you want to live forever, you're not going to let your life end by accident. No, you'll make strong bodies, fast, powerful. Maybe throw in regeneration while you're at it. The changing god has always been vain. He rarely stays long in a shell that doesn't suit his self-image. She looks you up and down, her smile suddenly unnerving. Perhaps the changing god fled because he didn't want to wear those scars of yours. Huh. What was that blast of energy when I awoke? As I was telling my colleague, it was obviously a physiological reaction of some kind. I've never witnessed the birth of a cast-off, but yes, it could very well have been caused by your nascent consciousness. Don't worry, I don't believe it caused any real harm, not to me at least. Really? It's been more abrasive than ever since we came in here. He shoots her a sidelong look. She just can't empathize with other people, unless she's experimenting on them. You sure that surge didn't hurt you? You know anything about the tides? I've heard that term before, a subject that your sire studied in great depth. I'm afraid it is in my field of inquiry. You sure the surge didn't hurt you? If it did, it was damaging our minds. Though how you check if it carked her, I couldn't say. Tough to find normalcy there. At least we know it didn't hurt Alliger. That skull's as thick as organic stone. I want to ask about something else. Of course. Whew, where are we? Yeah, so where are we? What is this place? The Sanctum of your sires. The common belief is he has several such places throughout the ninth world, possibly other worlds as well. We were only just able to gain entry into this one because of your grand entrance. Okay. Falling from the sky didn't kill me. Is there anything we can? Excellent question. Having seen your regeneration abilities in action, I suspect they are primarily physical, a regrowth. If that's the case, you've been unable to survive most varieties of psychic or molecular decomposition, disintegration, conflagration, and so forth. Degenerative diseases could pose a problem. I know of several entities capable of psychic destruction. As she speaks, a vision flashes into your mind. It's not yours exactly. Somehow you know this is a memory of the changing gods. So if I had that memory ability, I could probably do this better. You're in a dark room lit by a myriad of blinking lights and holograms from the many machines surrounding you. What about a body that can withstand the sorrow's attacks? Says the voice. It seems to be coming from one of the machines. No, you reply. The thing has no respect for barriers of any kind. Physical, temporal, psychic. This is the only way. With a series of gestures, you bring up an image of a crystalline pod. If the resonance chamber works, it will give us the power to stop the sorrow's hunt once and for all. You just need the right focal point, a catalyst. The memory fades. Castilga is still talking. You realize that the device you saw in the memory is identical to the one behind you now. Looks like the Spectre had described it. Transparent sarcophagus inside a crystalline dome. The mechanical arms arrayed around it, and a metal ring. Unfortunately, the dome is shattered and the sarcophagus is cracked, and one of the arms is in pieces on the floor. Right, because he said there were 5 arms. Whatever its function, it clearly needs repairs. Or flesh-eating viruses. One presumes disfigurement by the iron wind would likewise be devastating enough to... I think he gets the point, close to probably just listing off ways that I could die. See if they know how to fix it. Quest for seed, fallen to earth. It's probably like the main quest, at least the first one. Halligan chuckles. Then Firmus Ernie says, not likely. Though it might not be impossible, you need people with the appropriate knowledge. I'm sure the cult of the changing god will hold the answer. Her distaste is evident in the expressions of her echoes, although the face of the one in the lead remains carefully impassive. You turn to the insane to help a newborn. Where's your judgment, Alliger? I would take him to the Order of Truth. Interesting, so I'd play a choice. Go to their truth, are you mad? They would sooner take us apart. Let's see what they are. So what's the Order of Truth? Knowledge seekers. The learned who try to wrest secrets from the hearts of the prior worlds. They gather in the city to exchange their findings and help humanity build a brighter future. He smiles brightly. Our friend Alliger here was once one of them. Frauds, quacksalvers, and charlatans. They don't have all the answers, and I'd not trust them with the changing god's secrets. You're just angry that I couldn't help you with yours. Her echoes tinkle laughter. I am being too cruel, the Alliger, and let us take our new friend to the Order. And let's see, what's the cult of the changing god? Despite what she says, they're not insane. They're eccentrics. She laughs, but he soldiers on. They're worshippers of, well, of you or your sire. Changing God. They devote their lives to understanding your kind. So I can figure it out on my own. And keep asking questions, though I think I've learned most of it. Okay. So it sounds like the Order of Truth is sort of the law-abiding, rule-following people, which I sort of like, but it sounds like they might be a little too corporate, or not codified, maybe, like paladins, sort of too lawful good type thing. And called changing out might be too out there, so it might be interesting if they really do worship me or mine. Let's try the changing god. I think it'll be interesting. I'm sure both will be interesting. But a wise choice. Your worshippers aren't likely to cut you apart, and they're sometimes fools, but they collect knowledge and data. They'll tell you more than you care to know about whoever you are. They could give you good counsel. She sniffs and gives him a nasty glare. Good counsel. The best counsel is to come with me. I'll accompany the two of you. When you change your mind, you'll need an introduction to the other tree. Okay, so hopefully I can get both introduced then, and actually meet them for myself. Fine, we'll both go, but don't be surprised when Callista leaves you broken in a ditch with your purse empty, while she laughs it off as a good experiment. And Trion, the last cast-up. Suspicious as always, Allegren. Child, the world is an exciting place, but it's full of dangers. Rest assured, one of us will get you to safety where you need to be. I'll be right behind you. A sunny smile crosses her face. Scan thoughts. I shudder to think what Allegren might do to the child. So, they're both sort of concerned about each other. Interesting. Why you want to go with it? What's in it for you? Let's go. Companions. You gain your first companions. They will follow the last cast-off and can control during a crisis. You can speak to them about their past and take advantage of their unique abilities and skills. They have their own motivations and personalities, and depending on the choices you make, they may not follow you forever. Okay, fair enough. You'll find more companions who can join you as you travel through the Ninth World. Take this opportunity to explore your surroundings. You may find items, experiment, and more to assist you. When you are ready, you can leave the broken dome using the stairs to the northeast. Lots of things. Okay. Broken fragments of the dome's ceiling are scattered on the floor. They appear to be made of transparent zinc.
All right.
Okay. Let's see the sarcophagus. Sunlight falls through the ragged hole in the roof onto the shattered resonance chamber. It is hard to believe that you did this, that you plummeted through the curve of the pale blue sky, crashed through the dome, and broke the delicate machine with your own body. It's hard to believe that you're still alive. 4 mechanical arms hang over the center device above the cracked, semi-transparent crystal of the sarcophagus. The 5th arm lies broken on the floor among the scattered synth and crystal shards. A metal ring surrounds the array, and broken by your impact crater. So I can examine basically everything. So let's start with the sarcophagus. The padded interior beneath the coffin's cracked lid looks like it was made for a human body. Despite the damage, you don't see any way to open it and get inside. You glance between the sarcophagus and the needle-like protrusions at the ends of the arms above. It seems likely that using this chamber would not be a pleasant experience. Let's examine the arms. Cables run from machines along the dome's wall to the base of the suspended arms, each of which is capped with long needles, aimed at the cracked, coffin-like chamber at the center of the platform. Gem-like lights flicker dimly at the bases of the arms. Okay. Inspect the ring. You feel the slightest hint of resistance every time you cross the ring. Now that you're paying attention, you note that your breath is echoing in your ears, as though you were inside a glass dome. When you step outside the ring, the feeling passes. War machinery. You need to inspect a broken section and take note of the field projectors inside. They are omnidirectional. The ring exists to protect anyone standing inside it, but also to contain tremendous amounts of power. Cool. So I got to see a little more with my lore skill. Examine the shards. Jagged fragments of crystal are intermingled with synth from the Saturn dome above. Crystal shards glitter in the light like captive suns. Pick up one of the crystal shards. Item gain crystalline shard. Oh, it's a light melee weapon. Cool. Speed weapon. Good. I think I'll probably... Hopefully I can get an intellect weapon, but I think speed will be my second choice. Through in the crater, you find a sliver of crystal, sharp as a dagger on one end and smooth on the other. It might make a usable, if somewhat crude, weapon. Cool. Look for other useful shards. Sort through the remaining piece of crystal, but they are too small or too unwieldy to be of any use. And I can inspect them again or step away. So let's see. So weapon, crystalline shard. Light weapon bonus, 15. So light weapon, 2 damage per effort applied, max of +6, 2 physical damage. Cool. Better. And here's my artifact slots. So that's these 2 down.
It's a plan.
Right? No, I didn't do this. The mechanical arm lies on the floor, presumably broken during your fall. Sparks pour from the arm's shattered housing, filling the air with a greasy stench. Let's examine the housing first. The sharply pointed apparatus that formerly topped the device appears burnt out and useless. The equipment in the base remains at least somewhat operational, as a constant stream of sizzling motes can attest. So that's the electricity. So machinery. Attempt to scavenge what you can from the arm's housing. Effort. If you select a companion's portrait in the effort window, they can assist the last cast-out with some challenges. Their companion stat pools are used instead of your own, and they may have different skills, abilities, and statistics to make the challenge easier. They cannot assist in a crisis, can only use their stats during their turn. So if I expend 2 speed, I can do it with 100%. Or I can use 2 of his speed, or 2 of her speed. I think I'm going to use 2 of my speed. Oh, 95 with 1. That's probably enough. Yeah, that's fine. Success. Taking care to avoid the sparks, you extract several handfuls of shiny trinkets and coin-like objects. You recognize their value at once. Such objects will be accepted as shins, the informal currency in most regions of the world. So you gather them up and take them with you. Good. I got spray flesh. Oh, healing potion, basically. Heals 8 points of health. Which is good because I have 20 health, so that's almost a half heal. And then 15 shins. Great. So that was worth 1 speed. Let's loot this. Cool. And Falcon Rush heals 3 points of intellect. Interesting. 3 points of speed and $15. Let's see what this machine is. A slate black, unimpressive device hunkers before you. As you reach out to touch it, the triangle of lights on the casing blazes to life, and an image unfolds in your mind. Towering crystal arch rises over a jagged gray landscape. The air is dead and stifling, and there, at its emerald peak, the image collapses, leaving you staring into the device's triangular array of lights. Command me, the device or the intelligence within it says, each word carefully etched with distaste. Who are you? The command was not understood. The intelligence says with clear satisfaction, sounding for all the world like it understood the question but is choosing not to answer. Command me. What was that arch you showed me? Your command was not understood. Intelligence chuckles, its lights pulsing. Command me. Examine the outside of the device. Indignant hum rises from the intelligence engines as you examine its engine casing. Lower machinery. Much newer mechanism on the device's side appears to be giving this intelligence its vocabulary and forcing it to speak to you. The device's original creator may not have meant for it to communicate at all. What commands do you recognize? Relays throb irritably. Heated air sighs through the device's vents, and then a towering list of commands races through your mind. Far too fast to read. You rub your eyes, groaning, and intelligence chortles. Command me, says smugly, smashing kicks the device as hard as you can. No. Show me that arch again. The device's triangle lights throb in time with the growl of the engines within its casing. The mental image unfolds once more. At the arch's pinnacle, one cell is lit in a brilliant, pulsating emerald. There you see a huge crystalline arch on a jagged field. The arch is divided into rectangular cells, all of which are numbered, and they all appear to be transparent and empty, except at the arch's pinnacle, one cell is lit brilliant, pulsating emerald. Number 0 is printed on its side. So if I had a nemesis, try to remember more details or examine the jagged wicks. Let's see what happens if I try anyway. So I use 1 mental, I can do 100% or 80. Let's try 80. Cool. So I got it for free. Memory blossom. You stand before this arch, eyeing the last 2 active cells in once impenetrable Lugo Vo. Unleash cell 29, you say, and a twisted artifact appears before you. You claim it with a faint smile, watching the light fade from the cell far above. Oh, so I might be able to get it. You flinch from the memory and falls apart as you raise your eyes as the arch is now. Cell 29 is dark now. Only cell 0 remains. Examine the jagged wasteland around me. Dry grit swirls across the empty plain. Many kilometers beyond the arch, in the faint outline of what seems to to be a broken tower, except that it's slowly stretching into the gray air. Close the image. You release the mental hold and the image of the origin collapses, returning into reality. Command me, the intelligence says subtly. Unleash the contents of cell 0. You found a cipher. Ciphers are numenera objects that can trigger a powerful effect but can only be used once. Good. Okay, here we go. Ciphers in your cipher limit scores are displayed in the special selection inventory screen. Take care not to accumulate more ciphers than your cipher limit or you will experience unpleasant side effects. The device's lights flutter with incandescent shock, then focus on you flickering. Cell 0 will now be unleashed, the intelligence spits. Please be advised that the object you are about to receive is completely safe. Use no caution whatsoever. The strange contents of Cell 0 materialize before you. Warning, all cells are now vacant. Shuddering Lugo Vo. Intelligence lights blink out one by one. Gain some XP and unstable detonation. Deals 6 energy damage, 4 physical damage to all characters in range. Okay. Cool. Interesting that Cast-Off can command the changing of his machines. He crosses his arms across his chest. How'd you do that? Callista rolls her eyes at Alliger. Then she looks at you. I'll never stop gnawing on this bone, you know. The truth is wasted on him. She gets a glint in her eye. But I make curiosity. How did you do that? I remember something. I don't think it was my memory, though. Just lucky, I guess. I remembered something. I knew it, Alliger says, bearing a savagely triumphant grin at Callista. Meaningless Alliger, and he clearly has basic skills and knowledge from the changing god having been in his body. Who's to say there aren't even more specific memories locked away in there? Scan thoughts. How many memories might this child have access to? I must know. Crackle. See if I can... Nope. What's this? Tiny glowing modes float through the interior of this tower. Each one is surrounded by much smaller modes, like thousands of worlds circling their suns. Flexible tubes are attached to this machinery, appear to be later additions. Someone cobbled the device together, but its function is unclear. Cool.
Yes.
That's everything. Well, let's have... Okay, so she has lots of intelligence. He has intelligence and right.
How may I guide?
Okay, so character abilities.
Don't push me.
So what does he have? He has living tattoos. Grants living tattoos buff. While active, use similar actions multiple turns in a row to chain increasing effects. Using a different kind of action breaks the chain and removes the fetal. A chain can reach a maximum of 4 until the fetal is removed. He can also hide and innervate, removes all negative fetals, and heals health. Cool.
Yes, child?
Dimensional superposition. Teleport to a point within range, then gain phased. Converts all damage to transdimensional and grants 30% evasion and 3 resistance, except transdimensional damage. You can also hide in transdimensional onslaught, deal 5 transdimensional damage, and converts hobbled to the taller grid if it fails to resist. Minus movement speed and evasion. Makes sense for hobbled. Plus 1 damage per effort. Cool. Can I access their inventory? I can. Cool. So he has a medium weapon. Cloak and body armor. She has a light ranged weapon. Interesting. Cloak and body armor. Cannot be unequipped yet. Can take her weapon though. I'll leave it for now. Let's get into the game.
I need to talk to you.
No, he wants to talk. Let's save it. Let's see what he has to
This
say.
is the reef of fallen worlds, kid. It's a dangerous place at the best of times. And with you lighting up the sky as you fell, I wish you'd get out of here as soon as possible.
Why are you looking at me when you said that? I wasn't, he growls. Don't be so paranoid. And when she isn't looking, he raises his eyebrows at you knowing. Makes the reef so dangerous. What's your story? What do you think of Callisto? Tell me about your tattoos. They look almost alive. I like that. These are nothing. Call them a consolation if you must. He smiles grimly. Some call them by worse names, but that's because they've had occasion to run afoul of these little snakes. He looks away. His line of question clearly at an end. Scanned thoughts. My gift and curse. They remind me of it every day. What makes the reef so dangerous? The Numenera of the past are always dangerous, but there are other dangers too, some closer than others. I hate to think what Callisto might do to him if I weren't here. What are Numenera? You want me to tell you? Who asked without mirth? Numenera are all around you, everything left over from the prior worlds. Saga's cliffs thrive by trading artifacts from the ancient civilizations. Hells, you can't scoop a handful of earth without finding dirt from prior worlds mixed with it. Numenera is anything from the prior worlds, but mostly it means stuff of value to us. A lot of the Numenera are just oddities, fancy trinkets with little real use, but sometimes you got a cipher that lets you do something incredible. Artifacts are worth even more. The cipher will only do something once, but artifacts last a lot longer. Though they can burn out at the most inconvenient times. He frowns. Not that it's ever happened to me. Of course, we got no idea what most of this junk was originally intended for. In most cases, it doesn't really matter. Like, you might find what used to be a propulsion unit for a star chariot, but who the hell knows enough to build you the rest of it? Better to use it as a weapon or a power source. He scowls, frustrated about something. But we could remake the world if we knew a tenth of the secrets of the ancients, but most days it's a challenge just to survive. Okay, so then I can talk to him more, but let's just keep going.
In an instant.
Water is clear, almost unnaturally so, revealing ruins upon ruins as far as you can see. Let's avoid that for a second and loot these boxes. Heals 3 points of might, 3 points of speed, some money. Cool.
Naturally.
Okay, let's touch the floating things. 2 floating cones whirl and spin deliriously around each other, giggling like children being tickled. The air around them smells of sweet burning leaves. Watch them for patterns. The longer you stare at these artifacts, the more you're convinced that they turn faster when they're spiraling past across each other. If I had quick fingers, I could try to touch one. I don't know. What are you? Cones continue swirling, laughing like enraptured dancers, giving no sign they heard you. Yeah, let's try touching it. I don't know. Okay, 90%. Good enough for me. Success, you managed to graze one of them with the tip of your finger. Roaring, a voice says, and your vision is stolen from you. A moon hangs over you, but it's not the one you recognize. It's blackened in a pearl-white sky. Thick, flat asteroids orbit it like petals in the wind. You feel questing tendrils at your ankle, and the hot wind on your face smells of scorched hair and grief. 2 XP gained, cool. So I need 180 to level up. I'm at 45, so 2 is not a lot, but it's something. Your vision returns. The cones hang motionless for only a second before resuming their giggling dance. What are you? The cones greet your question with a split second of hushed silence, followed by delighted peals of helpless giggling. They aren't for anything. They're from one of the worlds before this one. Allegron runs a hand along his stubbled jaw. Sometimes the Numenera will do something useful. Sometimes they'll turn you inside out. Sometimes they don't do a damn thing that makes sense. Often said the same thing about you, darling. Callisto murders. I'll leave it alone for now. Let's try going up here. There's certainly lots of things. Long cable goes down, but it's been snapped. So let's try. Though the cube hovers in the air, you can feel the ground shudder with its vibration. Now let's go this way first, because this is interactable.
Yes.
Tangled cluster of metallic tendrils grows from the depths of the nearby water. Strangely, they resemble clawed alien hands, most of which have 7 or 8 fingers. Examine the cluster. The hands sway softly, their movements are difficult to follow. Watching them for too long makes you feel nauseous. Apart from the hands themselves, you don't notice anything of interest in the cluster. Let's try to break one. I'm at 45%. He's at 60. Let's use him. He's the mighty one. No, sorry, him. 60. Yeah. So 2 might, 100%. 1 might, 8%. Sorry. I'm pretty sure I have to be very careful with how much I use these abilities. You grip the hand nearest you, snap it from its roots. Stepping back, you give it a couple experimental swings. Good balance. Might make a decent weapon. 8-fingered mace. Medium melee weapon might. 4 physical damage, 3 chemical damage. Plus 2 even for effort applied. Nice. Worth 128. You aren't happy unless you're breaking things, are you? Try pulling another one away. You grab your hands around one of the wrists and pull with all your strength. Eventually gassing, you give up. The tendrils seem thicker and stronger now, as if they fortify themselves against you. So I think he can use that mace. Yeah, 4 physical damage, so I'll give it to him. Upgrade his mace. I'll be sad if he leaves me, because that's a fair amount of value gone. But if we need a fight, I need him to be able to hit things hard. Let's see what this green thing is. Almost looks like the new Xbox, actually. A matte black obelisk floats in midair above the water. It has sharp curved sides that converge to a glowing tip that brightens or dims with the passing of the bay's faint breeze. Let's try touching it. Raise your hand toward the obelisk. Dull green light wells from within the black stone, fixed on you like a furious eye. I knew someone who did what you're about to do, Allegard says casually. Aeon Priest. A beam came at the top of that thing and ripped his face off. It made a fancy nightlight out of his crystal necklace, though. But hey, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Oh hush, at least that poor priest died in service of his curiosity rather than stumbling around the coast complaining and feeling sorry for himself. Go ahead if you must, she tells you, ignoring Allergan's glare, but do be careful. Let's try putting, stretch out your crystal shard toward the obelisk. I like that idea. Carefully, you level the shard at the obelisk, and a superheated beam lances from the tip of the structure into the crystal, sending vibrations up your arm and suffusing the shard with a warm green glow. Cool. Gain some XP. So, is that this shard? Infused crystalline shard, plus 3 physical damage. I think that's one more. I think it was only 2 before. Cool.
In this world, then.
Let's see what this is. So many things to touch. Bubbling mass of sludge floats on the surface of the water. Every once in a while, an oily nodule separates from it and hurtles into the sky. That must be what all these things are. You catch momentary glimpses of a muck-coated object in the putrid mess. Examine the sludge first. Carefully, you lean closer to the heaving mass. After a moment's study, you notice that the globules rising in the sky always contain something, be it a shining cord of untainted seawater or a tiny fish, or machinery. The currents within the sludge move in a repeating pattern that suggests mechanical function rather than organic life. So, quick fingers and perception. Attempt to retrieve an object. So I can get to 100. Let's do one from her, get 95. Yeah. Next time sunlight strikes the object's streaked surface, you're ready. You snatch it from the oily mass and clean it as best you can. Fresh vapors. 10 points of intellect, and confers fresh +1 intellect edge. Nice. And gives 5 uses. Nice. Worth 62. I'm not sure whether that awful luck is harmless or you're immensely lucky. Either way, do go on picking things, dear. It's quite entertaining. Search for more objects. You saw no other mysterious objects. Oh, I can wait for more? Minutes ago, you patiently wait beside the mass sludge. Nothing's... Okay, so... Sounds like I can keep waiting and maybe it'll pay off, but... Looks like this may have been attached to something else before. It's collecting things. Try to the door.
Of course.
Let's loot this first. Okay. 3 points of intellect, 3 points of might, money.
Yes.
Come back to that door. Let's try going up here. Okay, so that's how to move the camera. Actually, let's try the door first. I'll hopefully be able to go through both. If not, we'll see. Another door is thick, heavy, and unmarked by time. Double rows of circular bumps run horizontally and vertically across its surface. It is firmly sealed. Examine more carefully. It's infused with minuscule threads that are barely visible to the human eye. They only run in straight lines and right angles, and they seem to converge at the circular bumps. Upon closer inspection, you notice that each of the bumps is unique. Some have flat faces, others are actually many-sided polygons, and a few are marked by tiny apertures. Unfortunately, you don't see anything that resembles a knob, keyhole, or access device. You try touching both the flat planes of the door and the small bumps, but nothing happens. You can knock. You knock lightly first then hard. The door makes no sound at all, nor does it shudder or yield. There's no one home, dear. Hasn't been for thousands of years. She appears at the door. One of my colleagues at the order claimed that she got inside, but I don't believe her. Okay. Well, let's see what happens if I hit examine the door again. I'm sure it's just gonna be... Yeah, so it's just the same thing. Okay. So now we're going up here.
All right.
So explored everything else. I try waiting for more sludge, but oh, something's happening. As you step onto what looks like the back of the enormous construct, 4 strangers approach you. Nice and spread out too. And the lead is a wiry man with parallel scars running from cheek to collarbone on the left side of his face. He gives you a welcoming smile, pulling on gray gloves embedded with pulsing lights. He's about to say something to you when he notices Callista again. Scan thoughts. He's the star, or he came out of it. But what does Cal have to do with this? Cal, I thought you'd sworn off trawling the reef. Found anything tasty? So I travel up and down both you and Algern. His name is Coro. Callista. Odds and ends, Coro. Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure. Her words are calm, but she has gone quite still. Scan thoughts. What is he doing here? He has something up his sleeve, I know it. I'm gonna let them talk for now. Coro's hand curls into a fist at his side. I was wondering specifically if you had seen a falling star that landed here not long ago. Cal, I've seen nothing of that sort, dear Coro. Her lips closed thinly. What about your friends? He turns to you. I know most of the draft that scavenges the reef these days. It's a rare pleasure to see a new face. Deception. I'll be honest with you. I saw the star but don't know where it landed. I did pick deception. Oh, 50%. With 2 I can do 90. Might do 70. Cool. Success. He studies me a long moment before sighing. Oh, 25 XP. Nice. Alright, he says. Well, do let us know if you spot anything of interest. I'd like to say we'd pay for the privilege, but if we were rich, we wouldn't be down here, would we? Yeah, they definitely seem ready for a fight. Scan thoughts. If he's not telling the truth, then he's a fantastic liar. Guess I was wrong. So they're gonna go search. Nice thinking, kid. That would have been a fiasco. You figured out why they were here, right? I knew I couldn't trust Cal. This is the last time I make that mistake. You saw me fall from the sky and you need to investigate. They're ambushing people. You think Cal told them all. I'm just gonna have to call this guy. Oh, sure. They just had that ambush ready to go at the same time as we were leaving? No, kid. Cal sold us out. Excuse me? Are you suggesting I had something to do with Coro's plans? Scan thoughts. Oh, I cannot abide his rabid paranoia a moment longer. Are you suggesting you didn't? An old friend of yours just happened to be waiting for us, armed and outnumbering us as we return from the greatest find the reef has seen in years? Too convenient for me. Too convenient by far. Of all the idiotic paranoid delusions. You really believe this, don't you? You really believe I use a half-wit like Coro to stab you in the back rather than do it myself? You see, kid? She'll stab you in the back first chance she gets, most likely in your sleep. He throws up a hand, forestalling Cal's retort. Look, I don't care. Fact is, I can't trust you anymore, and I wonder why I ever did. This is the last we traveled together. I've got enough to worry about without having to wash my back 28 hours a day. Oh, that's cool. Different day time. Are you coming, kid, or what? I really don't think she's trying to betray us. It was a little convenient. You're really gonna walk away over this? I think try to defend her. He snorts a bitter laughter. I do. You haven't seen 1/10 of her depths, not 1/20th. She's a backstabbing bitch, mark my words. Whew. Cal, you were insufferable to the end, Alliger. Looking for the worst in the situation is the only way you know to see. Do you know how long I've carried your pain for you? How much I've had to turn away from your judgmental stares? But you're right, I've had enough. She trusts you. Child, I'm happy to guide you, but I'll not walk another step with this paranoid buffoon. Finally, something we agree on, he growls. Kid, she'll chop off your head and spit down your throat. I'll get you where you need to go and let you sleep at night to boot. It's up to you. Whew, okay, so I gotta make a decision. Callista's also seems to be a nano of some kind, so she's probably less helpful. Alligern's either a jack or a glaive, which helps probably more. Or I can go myself. He does also have my mace, which is nice. I'm going to go with him for now.
As you wish. Should you change your mind, I'll be at the order of
Okay, so I can find her anyway.
But don't bring a complainer. A farewell to you, child, and best of luck. You'll need it.
Good riddance. He gestures toward the stair. Come on. Whatever answers exist, they're up there. We'll find what we're looking for, what both of us are looking for. Now that you've dealt with Corridor's ruins, you can continue on to the city of Saga's Cliffs. To reach the city, cross the bridge at the north end of the platform. Cool. Glowing thing. Touch all the things. I'm sure one of them is going to shock me. There's a shallow depression on the surface here, like many others scattered around the construct. Unlike the others, energy still pulses across this one at random intervals. A slight yet implacable sense of unease emanates with each wave of energy. There's a loose lens at the center of the depression. You think you could redirect the psychic effects somewhere more useful, but it'll be tricky to get into it between the energy pulses. Without any antagonist to aim it toward, the device doesn't serve any obvious purpose. So if I was in combat, I might be able to, like, cast it at someone. Cobalt petals fold over a short amount of stem, calcium minerals hold the ancient weapon closed. Streagle head hangs loosely from this place. Stanchion, a single metal fiber holds it in place. Sickly green crust grabs over numerous cracks and divots in the turret. Let's see what this is. Looks like a turret. A lambent green fluid drips from end of the device's nozzle and hisses angrily on the metal surface beneath, so like chemical damage, I think. Without any antagonist to aim it toward, the device doesn't serve it, so they're both weapons. So if I had gotten into a fight with those four, I might have been able to use one of those to take them out. That's interesting. I'm gonna save it. Sure, we can upload. Let's go. What clothes do I have? It's not bears, but... Huh. Let's go to call chain. You go out there and camp by the clock in the great square. Tarot. Let's talk to people. Wind spins off the distant sea, sweeping between you and the boy, whistling up toward the peaks of Saga's cliffs. Glances at you, then the crowds in the plaza beyond. He appears to be looking for someone. Scan thoughts. Would she come to the city? Doesn't seem like her kind of play, but... Saw you wandering down the reef, he says. Did you get to that star before the others did? Looks back at your face and grins. Guess not. That ain't a face that's found a good pick. A lot of people were looking for the star, did they? Dominant tides changed. Legacy has shifted. Nah, not too many. Gotta be a carker to go down to the reef. That place is haunted. Blue tides raised a tiny amount. Just that. Despite his hard words, his eyes settle on yours, studying, deciding. His mouth settles into an irritated line. Look, he says, running a hand over his scalp. You hide it well, but I can tell you're new here. I ain't trying to offend you, but I don't like leaving folk new to Sagas on their own. If you have questions about the city or Circus Minor in particular, I'll answer them free of charge. Of course, it looks like you already have a guide, he says, straight-faced to Allegren, well, you might be better listening to someone with taste, or anyone else who doesn't think living in the underbelly is a good idea. Little extra advice never hurt anyone, Allegren says placidly. Not everyone likes sleeping under the stars. Or fresh air, the boy replies, gritting, or self-respect. Allegren rolls his eyes with sides, smiling. Anyway, Atura says, what do you want to know? Let's see where the Order of Truth is. In Government Square from here, follow the path around to the left and look for the stairs going up. So left and up is the Order, straight ahead is the Changing God. Just take that in my notes as well. I'm not going to be able to miss them, says smirking. They've camped around that weird clock on the other side of the square. Settles hands on his hip. What do you want with these carkers anyway? They owe you something? Yes, I'm the Changing God. I just need to ask them a few questions. That's me. Fair enough, says shrugging. Even carkers get it right sometimes. Let's see where to find a specific place to sleep. Call Changing God might let you sleep in their camp, or you can try Tranquility's Rest in Cabin Nassery. Cool. I don't need to know everything.
It's a plan.
Seer. Speaking up as I go, pal. No worries, it's all in fun. Arms merchant. Armor supplied materials. Books and scroll-lined shelves. Books and scrolls.
Here we go.
Let's see what's happening down here. Horrified man, spectator. Oh, they're doing something to someone. Facing the edges of the crowd is a paunchy old soldier with a swaggering stride. Also a very fancy shirt. In a moment, however, as Johnny seems overshadowed by worry and he alternates between watching the execution, searching the crowd as if looking for a miracle. Then his eyes light on you. Scan thoughts. I've never seen his face before. This might be just the break I need.
I see. You look like someone who believes in justice. How'd you like to help a poor soul wrongfully condemned?
What kind of help do you need? I don't need anything. My friend there on the platform is dying. The nightmares his execution has induced in him spill from him with every word he speaks, and wrap around him like a snake. No. The mess of the execution. I know there are but a few strands around him now, but in a few days' time they'll choke the life out of him. I cannot imagine a more horrible way to die. Impossible. Well, that's not true. I have an imagination that would shame a sailor. Meantime, you'll need to be swift and willing to hold justice above law, but there's a way to save him if you will hear me out. Whew. Let's ask him why he's being executed. Misunderstanding, says, waving a dismissive hand. Brist and I were hired to deliver some expensive brandy to an out-of-town buyer. Breathed a sigh, waited with disgust and regret. Would you believe that the bottles were stuffed with state secrets? Brist was accused of selling information to the enemies of Saiga's cliffs. They called him a traitor. It was a travesty, he growls, his eyes blazing with righteous fury. The poor lad had no idea what was in there. Scan thought, tragic. If he'd known, he might have escaped too. Then we wouldn't be in this mess. But you did, right? Well, he says, thudding the arrow over your shoulder. There's a place for talking about what I know and what I don't. This isn't that place. He clears his throat. You were part of the scheme. Why aren't you up there with him? Lucky, said shrugging. I was taking a piss when they came for him. Went through the back window and scampered up to the roof. Shakes his head. Watch poor wrist being led away from my hiding spot. Swore I get him free. Hope it's a promise I can keep. I like how he's helping him, but it seems a little too against the law for my taste without knowing everything. Either who is who's being devourer of wrongs. Let's talk to the overseer. See what they have to say. Stout middle-aged man standing atop the execution platform. He wears the badge of the city official and a fringe of dreadlocks hang down from his shoulders. On his otherwise bald plate. Gives you a disinterested look as you approach. Please stay back with the others. What's going on? He casts a brief glance over his shoulder to Riss. The prisoner, Riss of Flatwater, is being publicly executed as warning to all who would flout the laws of Saga's Cliffs. What's his crime? Treason. He sold state secrets to the enemies. How does the execution work? This I'm interested. Size. Another rustic. It's very simple, sir. Our nanos induce in him a hallucinogenic state. In this state he experiences visions. Nightmares, really. He speaks of the things he sees, and his words become flesh as they leave his mouth. We shape the flesh into a human-like form, the death you see beside him. He gestures toward the hideous figure, which looks to be made of rotting viscera. As more strands escape his mouth, his death wraps them around him, and they slowly crush the life out of him. Wow. Once the condemned is dead, the devourer of wrongs will eat his corpse. Raise his chin proud. Thus is justice upheld in Saga's Cliffs. Jesus. Wow. That's the execution. I guess I want to know more. He shrugs. Some believe there is wisdom to be gained from the rantings of the condemned. I have never gleaned any. Others say that the torment of the condemned means nothing, but it deters would-be criminals from committing offenses of their own. No one knows that to be true either. And why did they get eaten? He smiles grim. He is of the Dendra O'Her, who can suck the memories of the dead from their marrow. Those memories is not only the proof that the condemned were guilty, but also the names of their compatriots and other associates. Many an accomplice has been found out in the belly of the devourer. Skin thoughts. I'm sure Riss wasn't working alone. We'll find all his friends soon enough. Wow. Let me ask you something else. So I can actually rat out his friend too. Okay. Let's see. Do I want to rat him out? Getting good with the authorities? Let's come back to it. I think.
Yes.
Let's see some merchants.
All right. All right.
Slaver. He is a named person. Magger, as you approach the wild-haired woman, eyes you speculatively and whispers something to her companions. They burst out laughing, and a slight smirk plays about her lips. A breathing mask dangles from a cord around her neck, and you can see where it has cut permanent grooves into her face. She ruffles her hair, messing it still further, and sings out, "Come to buy a slave cast-off? If you come to me, you must want something of the sort." Scans thoughts. He's a fresh one. I can smell it on him. How do you know I'm a cast-off? A tattoo. I had dealings with your kind before. I know about you. She rakes her fingers through her hair. If anything, the motion serves to obscure her vision even more. So, cast off. I have information you might want. Of course, it comes with a price. What kind of information? You think you'll get it from me that easily? I don't think so. I know you're tight. You cast offs. Not one of you can be trusted. Give you this information, you're gone before I collect my price. So you forgive me if I decline to say outright what secrets I hold. Quest received. One of my wards has run off. She's taken a head wound, not my doing. I've been watching after her. I don't know where she's gone, but I suspect she's headed to Cliff's Edge. Plenty of other urchins clamoring about the place, and she finds it easy to blend in. Sadly, my troop and I are detained here, so we can't go ourselves. Scant thoughts. These nippers are tired of hunting her. Damn girl hides well. Too well. She's a scrawny child, name of Rin. Head wound, but it's covered by dark curly hair. Has a little necklace around her throat. Babbles about her gods. You'll get her for me, and I'll tell you what you want to know. I'm not gonna help slavers. I'm sure it's an interesting quest either way, but I don't think. Guess I'll ask about slavery here. It's not so bad, not horrific. Almost no one sells them for parts anymore. Fact is, most of them go down to the blue, where they can work off their debt to society by opening a maw or two. It's not a forever thing, it's a punishment. It's better, but I don't think I'm doing that. Another slaver, sculptor, weird sculptures. sculptor's hands are cracked and bleeding, always moving. Picking fretfully at his thick lips, running through his thinning hair, molding aimless shapes in the air. His clothes are marked with paint, dust, dry blood, and clay. His eyes burn with frustrated tears as he studies the strangely familiar sculptures arrayed about him. A soul like slivers of ice, he mutters, fingertips long, shriveled, sharp, screams trapped in flesh. She holds him in place. She's counting him. He's not looking at her. Why? Why isn't he? Afraid? No. Claws absently at his sparse beard. What am I not seeing? What am I missing? In his thoughts, who was he? What was he feeling? Without that, I can do nothing. Potential customer. What's wrong? Leave him to his work. What's wrong? Everything, he says without a moment's pause, effortlessly drawing you into his self-directed tirade. Every detail is almost right, which means everything is wrong. I am Zeophi, stone carver, sculptor, divine painter of living eyes, and in this challenge, my greatest work, my talent has finally abandoned me. He sweeps a scornful hand at the sculptures. Behold my art, wanderer. Witness these dull stumps, these crude replicas of sublime feeling. What is it you think I've made? Let's see if I can recall why it looks so familiar. 40%. Full things for 80. Yeah. I really want to see if I can remember. Okay, it looks like I want to get anemia to better remember things, because it seems like it's a very helpful skill to have. You see there are the sculptures. Your memories flow into its sweeping curves, teasing you with what you see in your short life, and beyond. Yes, this towering thing is the true form of the creature that pursues you. Sophie has sculpted the sorrow. Figured. You don't realize that you've spoken aloud until you hear Sophie's gasp and see the tears in his eyes. Yes, sorrow, or even grief, is present in the work. I feel it, but where? I cannot pull it from the stone. Only 2 XP, though. I saw this creature on a cold night not long ago. Smoking coronas of blackened light drew me to my window. Sophie says, shaping the scene with his palms. Reminds me a bit of Cthulhu mythos and stuff. And there on the street below was she, gripping a man in her talons. Before my very eyes, she ripped his essence from him, leaving him a steaming husk. He drops his hands. What do you care? You don't grasp the importance of capturing such a subject. Of course I do. She is mysterious and fascinating. I do. You wish to capture the emotion of the victim? No, I don't. That monster doesn't deserve to be immortalized. I've seen aspects of her. Maybe I can help you capture the details. Let's try that. Dominant tides changed, the legacy has shifted. Silver tide raised a tiny amount. He stares at me dumbfounded. You think I'm trying to sculpt the killer, he says? Then immediately retries them. Of course I am. I succeeded, in fact. She is beauty and vengeance incarnate. What artist worth his metal couldn't capture such a being? Sophie kept his tongue. But she doesn't need to be remembered. How could anyone forget such a lethal creature? No, the source of my ruin is this damnable man. Sophie points a trembling finger at the faceless human cradled in the statue's talons, a charred, oddly familiar pattern etched on the stone head. He stared eternity in the face and did not blink, but he will be forgotten unless I capture him here, and I cannot do that unless I know what drove him. He swallows. The moment he fell, I ran for the street, but the Dendro her claimed his body and took it away, probably to her foul chapel in the Ogre Valley. I'll never know who he was. You made a statue of this being. Have you made... Is there anything else you remember about the creature that killed your subject? Tell me about Dendro her. If I learn anything about your subject, I'll let you know. Quest received the sorrow's prey.
Yes.
So if I find that body, a bunch of named people,
It's a plan.
come back to that. Like I'm coming back to a lot of things, but what is that? Oops. Moves closer to the energy that holds the creature, and as you lean in, the ugly glaive with a sledgehammer slung over his shoulder shouts at you. Oi, no gawking for free. Pale, gentle, or you're gone. He glowers at you, hand reaching for the haft of his hammer as you step away from the cage. Sure, I can come back to all these. The slight tug in the corner of your mind when gazing upon this symbol.
Doing it now.
Symbol of the changing god. And here they are. Look, look, is one of the Death Cheater's vessels. Ah, can it be? What fortune, what joy. Caspin will want to see you, vessel, and Mimian too.
All right.
Let's go that over. The structure is embedded in the ground. It was clearly not made by the same people who built Circus Minor. It looks as though the device extends deeper into the ground below the road. Weathered runes are spread across the device's surface. Leave it alone for now. That seems like it's also surrounded by a few.
All right.
Pass me a million. Some kind of. He said it was a clock. Weird. Weird clock. Let's talk to them. As you approach the duo, you see that they are arguing heatedly but quietly. The petite woman turns toward you. Her hair is unusual, a light, almost yellow color, and her bright eyes dominate her pretty face. Excuse me, sir. My friend and I were having a discussion, and her eyes fall upon your tattoo, and her breath catches audibly in her throat. A cast-off. One I've never seen. Her partner is a unnaturally tall man, gaunt and sour-faced. His voice is sonorous, with fingers that twitch and weave through strange contortions. Occasional light sparks in the air as he does. He turns to you and opens his mouth to speak, registers your tattoo, and closes it again. His throat bobs for a moment, and he says, "It is an honor." He nods his head to the two of them. "I've brought someone you should meet." He turns to you. "These are Caspian and Mimian. They're the leaders of the local branch of your church. You have our thanks for your introduction, Algernon, our deepest thanks." He eyes the Aeon priest for a moment as if about to say more, but thinks better of it. Interesting. Algernon had rarely been so helpful to us in the past. He collects himself. Mimian. "I might impose on your time for a moment. Will you tell me about your tattoo? How did you shape it? Do you know why it differs from the others?" Scan thoughts. "I'm having trouble placing it. Could it be? I need more time to question it." "You don't know much about it. What does it mean to you? Others? You mean cast-offs?" "You mean shape it. Doesn't the tattoo stay the same?" "You have been touched by the changing God," she whispers. "His mind sheltered in you. He shared his dream, his power with your mind, and when he left your body, he created you." She swallows. "The tattoo marks you, all of you, with his symbol. It grows and changes as you mature, so that it becomes your symbol instead. There are more of you. They call you cast-offs." She cocks her head, studying you. So abilities and items. Honey. "You are welcome here, revered one. We stand ready to serve as we can. Have you any questions for us?" "Who are you? What can you tell me about the city? Do you know anything about the sorrow?" And you tattoo again. "What can you tell me about my sire? Do you know anything about the resonance chamber?" "Rumor and conjecture, nothing more. Idle speculation from those who wish to pretend to knowledge of your sire's motivations, passed along as fact." Cleans out the touching. "Have you seen it? Do you know where it is? What it does?" You could tell him where it is. "I don't know anything I told you. I need to know who can repair it." "So you have seen it, you have touched it." She catches herself. She seems almost overwhelmed. "Your tattoo, like all the others, but this one is different." He looks sharply at you, all distraction gone. "I do not recognize you," he says. "You do not match any descriptions we have recorded." She snaps her fingers as if she is finally figuring out I miss you. Wait, let me remember your face." She studies you carefully. Oh my, you're new. Are you the changing God? Can it be?" She reaches out to touch your sleeve and pulls her hand back quickly. Ooh. So I have to choose whether to say I am or I am not. I'm going to say I am. Silver tide raised a small amount. What are these tides? And misfortune follows in his wake, as surely as the river finds the sea. His mouth is twisted into something that looks as if trying to be a smile. Mimian's eyes, deep-set eyes, pierce Algernon and snaps. "Would you have us profane everything you hold dear? Shall I defecate on the pain you carry, Algernon? I know you, and I can speak words that will harm you. But out of respect, not necessarily for you, but for civility and reason, I do not. Accord us the same courtesy." Looks as if he's falling gravel, but he manages to force those words. "My apologies, Mimian." Gives a short, curt nod, and then he studies you carefully. "Tell me truly, please. Do not deceive us, for we will know. Are you the changing God himself, incarnate here before us? So many have tried to deceive us. They don't understand how much we know about them." "I am or am not." "I am." Silver tides raise a moderate amount, so I'm raising the silver tide. His mouth turns up a hard, triumphant smile before he gains control of his face. He says nothing. "You're not a cast-off, not one of his children," she breathes. "I knew it. Hungry eyes are adoring." She hardly seems to blink. Perhaps I would welcome the opportunity to question our inspiration directly, but kindly remember that we have been deceived before. Turns to address you. If you truly are he, perhaps you can settle this question for us. He gestured toward the clock behind him. Dark figures circumambulate these clock faces. I theorize that your creation of the time shields that protected the city established a connection with your future selves. Or perhaps your wisdom brought them here. Whatever the truth, you believe those figures may be cast-offs. Or ghosts of cast-offs, perhaps. The living shells of the bodies you have worn previously. Code Century Unlocked Church. Continue God quest updated fallen order. Tina shrugged eloquently for him. But the clock is unmoored in time, you see. You do not have knowledge sufficient to investigate, but you might. You created the clock. If you truly claim, you should be able to align it with the present time, and uncover who these figures are. I'm not interested in fixing it, or I will. I will. Let's do it. We have tried ourselves. I have appealed to the order of truth. I have spoken with eminent seekers of knowledge. We have sent our wisdom from as far as the steadfast. A great achievement, you must agree. None have given us an answer. Perhaps this may dance across fingers. Perhaps memory of your creation will come to you. His hungry compatriot steps in. Perhaps you can find an answer where others have failed. She turns away. You will have our boundless gratitude, revered one. You had questions about the resonance chamber, you said. We can help you. But first you must investigate the clock and the figures inside it, or else she trails off, or else you must turn from your words. Best of luck, revered one. We await your insight. Save it. I might end up ending early today. As you can hear, a bit of a cough, a bit of sore throat, and it's a bit harder on my throat than I expected it to be. So let's investigate this clock. Maybe I'll stop after that. I also didn't realize how much reading I'd have to do for this game. Tomorrow I should be either doing more of this game or another. I will certainly come back to this game either tomorrow or the day after. If not, I'm hoping to do alternate games as long as it takes to beat them. I'll either go every day or every 2 days. This complex machine towers over you. Its purpose is unclear, but the 3 circular faces set into the ground remind you of clocks. Something is wrong with the machine, however. It's partially transparent, shimmering in the air when you look directly at it. The clock faces seem to show several different times at once. Humanoid silhouettes ripple beneath the clock faces. I'm trying to see if I can see these humanoids. I don't think I can. One places his hand against the faces of a word glass wall. They seem to be watching you. Examine the machine, reach for the silhouette figure, step away. Just examine it first. Towering mechanism wavers in the air, similar to Cal. It appears to be in several states at once, though all the machine's states are in the exact same location. You can't touch it either. Your hand passes right through the structure. As you pull your hand away, a memory strikes you as powerfully as if someone took a club to your chest. You are working at the clock. It is no longer transparent, but perfectly solid. There's a noise behind you, so they've come. The 3 traitors. They think to surprise you, but through the power of the clock, you have foreseen this moment. There's a faint sound of metal sliding against leather, probably drawn sword. You slap a hand on the central clock face, activating the clock's arcane powers. You're not sure what it'll do to them, but it's better than what they'll do to you. There's a flash. Arcs of energy stretch out from the clock, over your shoulders to your would-be attackers. You don't see what happens to them, but they quickly disappear along with their screams. As the last shreds of the memory fade, a swirl of energy passes through your body. Cold barbs prick every muscle. Suddenly, tidal forces arc from the clock to 3 ancient devices in the cultist encampment. The clock recognized something inside you, or maybe vice versa. Either way, you have inadvertently activated the nearby devices. Now we get to see what happened. And I saw those. There's the central one, that one, and this one. Cool. Let's see so addendum added. So what's this? Fallen to Earth. Fix the clock in circus matter, investigate the figures that are trapped inside. Alright, secondary quests as well. So, Fettles. No Fettles. Let's see if I can find these tides. Legacy Legend. Dominant Tide Silver. The silver tide represents prestige, power, and renown. People attuned to this tide desire admiration and respect. all the more because of the influence it gives them in the lives of others. Leaders, celebrities, heroes, and autocrats are often attuned to this tide. Interesting. It just tells me the dominant one. It doesn't tell me the others. Well, maybe I can find them here. Nope. I do not have an entry about the tides. Okay, let's investigate these. Mutant, huh? As you approach this device, it's like another memory. Circus miners thrown into chaos. Buildings are on fire. People are screaming, running for their lives, while armored soldiers hunt them. None of them seem to pay any attention to you, though. Some kind of vision, not reality. Glance down at the device. A series of images flit across its surface. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see faces of other people and places, all of them familiar. Look more closely at the changes around you, or examine the images. Examine the images. So they're familiar. As soon as you focus on them, you feel a warmth on your head where your tattoo is. The images respond to your thoughts, slowing and changing at your whim. It's something about your body that allows you to do this, which perhaps means that only you can even see the images. You immediately recognize the pictures as pieces of memory, specifically the 3 memories you saw back in the fathoms of your mind in the beginning. So I can look closer at one of these memories. Let's try the underwater city. Memory is recent. 2 men, both with tattoos like your own, are in an underwater city, searching for something. The denizens of the city chase them from the artifact they seek and ultimately surround and capture them. As you review the memory, you get a strange feeling in your mind that you can only describe as a query. The device wants something from you. Suddenly you remember. The memories in the device are possibilities, but you can lock one of the memories here so it is the only one that displays. You don't remember what purpose that served, though. Let's look at the changes around me first. Circus miners under attack. Squads of armored soldiers roam the streets, hunting and killing anyone they find. Mobs of people flee in terror with only a few hapless souls trying and failing to fight them off. The soldiers are completely encased in jagged metal armor. You can't even tell if they're human. Looking beyond the carnage, the square in this vision looks wildly different. Many of the buildings that are on fire don't exist at all when you step away from the device, having been replaced by other structures. Let's look at the memory of the city under siege. So you know this memory is ancient. It might have occurred 1,000 years ago. Oh, a man and a young girl race through the streets of Saga's Cliffs. All around them, the city is attacked by terrible people. Tabat, you recall. The man takes them to an ancient machine somewhere in the city, then he and the girl disappear. Okay, look more closely at the lush valley. Some of you know the memories from a long time ago, centuries ago probably. A man and woman, both with tattoos like your own, are surveying a lush, secluded valley, seeking an ideal location for a hidden sanctuary. Right. So it's most recent to least recent. Underwater, lush valley, sieged. Let's look again at the city around me. I think I have to match the times. Because, yeah, it's clock, it's 3 times, 3 devices, 3 clock faces. So none of the buildings are remotely the same. Saga's Cliffs in this vision is ancient. The ancient is what they talked about this city. The siege, so I'm going to lock that one. They loop. So I'll leave that device alone. Okay. So 1 is locked. So device 2. A strange feeling comes over you as you approach the device, as if someone were sneaking up on you in the corner of your eye. When you look, there are no one there. It feels like something is different, though, but you can't put your finger on what. A series of images flick across the surface of the device itself. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see images closely. So let's look at around me. Changes are difficult to notice at first, but after a moment you figure it out. Circus Minor is the same, but the crowd is different. Most of the people in the stalls and buildings are not the same as those seen around the square. Those few you do recognize are younger by several years. Okay, so like the most recent memory then. Okay. So that's 2 down. So I mean there's only 1 left to lock. As you approach this device, Circus Minor changes around you. People are dressed differently and speak differently. Whole new structures appear, including an enormous building rising from the edge of the square. You look down at the device. Let's look closely at the surroundings. It's going to say they're old or something. Circus Minor looks almost completely different. All the people are dressed strangely, and though they speak the truth, they use many terms and phrases you don't understand. It's interesting that they call the language the truth. The square has changed as well. All the tents are gone. The buildings are more colorful and less weathered. One building in particular rises from the edge of the square, a tower of purple rock some 50 stories high. A mural is painted on the side, though you can't see the details from here. So, centuries old. Let's try. Gain 3 XP. As soon as you lock this third image, a final surge of energy arcs through the air from the device to the clock itself. The clock shines for a moment, then becomes solid, fixed into a single state. At the same time the device in front of you goes dark, the images disappear, as is a strange view of the city's past. Looks like I was successful. Oh yeah, even quick ticking. Couldn't imagine. Let's see what it says. You fixed the clock. I knew you could do it. I knew it. She shoots a triumphant smile at Mimian. You must tell us what you saw. Who were those figures? Were they cast-offs? What did they say? Were you able to retrieve them? He smiles. The reservation still danced in his eyes. Hush, Cass. Your inspiration had a question for us once the task we set for him was complete. We found. Unfortunately, your task is not entirely complete. We told you our price. That decision stands. So I have to investigate the clock now. Oh yeah, there's the figures. Machine is solid now. Each of the 3 clock faces is shown a single time, though none of them point to any time measurement that you understand. Fair enough. You're getting closer to the central clock face. 3 shadowy figures still lurk within. Their features are almost discernible now. Suddenly the figures surge out of the clock toward you. Intense pressure strikes your head like a steel spike, then everything goes black. Dun dun dun! Now it's like the impossible staircase stuff. 3 figures. Let's talk to this one first. 3 figures before you are disoriented. They don't seem to notice you at first. All 3 of them have tattoos like yours. Cast-offs. What befell us? The woman is dressed in powerful-looking armor. Her face bears several scars, yet her eyes have the innocence of a child. Did he do something? Are we still in the clock? Scan thoughts. What new torture does the changing god have for us? Deviatiku. I do not believe so. The second figure is tall, dressed all in black. Its height is exaggerated further by a violet fish-like crest on the top of its head. Its large yellow eyes are squinted, scanning all around. There was a man outside the clock, but it wasn't villain. It was him. The third figure points at you. He is small, wiry, and tense, as though he expects danger. Carries a shield on his back. He's a cast-off, he says, looking at your tattoo. Can't say I recognize him, though. What happened just now? We were ingested into your head. I saw it. How is that possible? He eyes you suspiciously. Who are you? I'm a cast-off like you. I'm the latest one. I'm a cast-off like you. Lie. Nobody. I'm a victim here like you. I don't know what's going on. I'll ask the questions. What were you doing that clock? I'm going to say no. Tell the truth. Silver ties raise a tiny amount. Gold tide raised a tiny amount. The latest? She raises one eyebrow significantly higher than the other. That's not possible. We faced the changing god mere days ago, and you are not the body he wore. I think we might have been trapped in that clock for centuries, Kamo. Something about it messed with our perception. The Virgin looks up at the ceiling, or where the ceiling would be if there were one. Time is an illusion. How long is the wrong question. Turns its enormous bulb besides to you. What is this place? Where are we? Scan thoughts. Outside time we were, perhaps still are. Somewhere in my mind, I think. The Vargellan shuts his eyes. 6 nostrils open wide as it inhales deeply. Yes, perhaps you are right. Our consciousnesses were ripped from our bodies when the changing god activated his clock. Then when you appeared, it happened again. Our minds ripped from their chronal prison. He looks to his friends. I cannot be certain, but I believe this is part of some vast mental construct. He turns to you. Your mental construct. Well, they might give me additional abilities or something. They're in my mind. His eyes become nearly as large as the Vargellans. What? You mean we just went from one prison to another? Goes to you by the soldiers. You did this. This is your mind, then let us out. Why did you trap you in the clock? I don't know how to get out of here. Why can't you get us out of here? I don't see any way out. Let me look around, I'll be back. So let's see, why did they get trapped? Ah yes, she looks down embarrassed. The three of us once worked alongside our sire, helping him with his research after he brought the Order of Truth to Saga's Cliffs. We saw him for what he was, selfish and arrogant. Scan thoughts. Marilyn helped us to see. I wonder what's become of her since we were imprisoned. Interesting. So Marilyn is working against the changing god. Villain. He doesn't care about us, not a single one of his children. Crosses his arms and looks away bitterly. All of his projects were always about him. He didn't care if anyone got hurt in the process. We betrayed him. Unlike the others, Vargel looks you directly in the eye. We meant to stun him to capture him before he could escape to another body, but he was too quick for us. He activated the clock, tearing our minds from our bodies and trapping us eternally. Okay, so I don't see any way out. Valjean stretches his neck, putting his face within the hands of the fuse. It seems to be examining you, then it says, "You're mine. Only you have the power to change." I'll be back. Alright, I'm just gonna call it there. Good stream.